Another team was going back to the wreckage and setting demolition charges to destroy the avionics inside.
Charges are set. Fire up the detonator.
Fire!
The SEALs have been on the ground now for 38 minutes and have just definitively announced their presence to the world.
A huge window shaking bang here in Ahmedabad. I hope it's not the start of something nasty.
They are well over the planned raid time and have to get to the Afghan border fast.
The return flight, arguably, is one of the riskier phases. And you can let your guard down very easily. You can't forget, I'm still flying a helicopter. It's still nighttime. The Pakistanis are still out there. The wires are still there. The towers are still there. You know, all those hazards that were there on the way in are still there.
I think everybody was very cautious at that point and jumping to the conclusion that this had been successful. It wasn't until they were safe and sound over Afghan territory that all of us breathed a sigh of relief.
The Pakistani military arrive in Abbottabad only to find the burning wreckage of the US Black Hawk and several of bin Laden's family members.
That was a tense afternoon. It was the longest 40 minutes of my life other than when my daughter got sick at the age of 3 and 3 months, and we were worried about whether she was going to be safe or not.
Identifying the man shot by the SEALs is now everyone's top priority. They fly the body to the US aircraft carrier Carl Vinson to prepare it for burial at sea. DNA samples are now being compared to those from a close relative of Osama bin Laden. The CIA is also using facial recognition technology to analyze photographs of bin Laden taken just after he was shot.
We had taken photographs, which we'd actually seen inside the Situation Room of the body. And we have analysts whose job it is to match up identities based on photographs.
At 6:40 p.m. in Washington, almost 3 hours after the raid, the results are ready.
It's a match.
It was their assessment that this was Osama bin Laden. And so we had a high degree of certainty at that point. We could not be 100% sure until we had the DNA.
The DNA results won't be ready for another 8 hours. But in the White House, pressure is mounting to release the news.
What we knew was that the story was going to start breaking. There are a lot of rumors floating around there, and at that point we can't maintain secrecy any longer. So we thought it was most important, particularly given the fact that it had taken place in Pakistan, that we go ahead and definitively state this is what happened, explain our actions. And we also needed to contact the Pakistani government to explain why we thought we had to take the step that we did. And fortunately, we turned out right.
Obama orders an emergency presidential TV address, and Ben Rhodes starts to write it.
It was a very intense period of time. I think it was less than 2 hours in which we were working on the draft. And we were editing it all the way up until when he walked out to deliver his remarks.
7.5 hours after the raid, and without the DNA confirmation, Barack Obama is about to speak to the world. In Jalalabad, Afghanistan, SEAL Team 6 gathers to watch.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands. A small team of Americans carried out the operation with extraordinary courage and capability. Thank you. Yeah, proud of you. You guys did a great job.
The reason I'm calling is to tell you we killed.
I'm starting to.
It's nice that the American people can celebrate, but this is one chapter in a long book, and it ain't over.
Early the next morning, DNA technicians confirmed that the dead man is Osama bin Laden.
We did not want bin Laden to be a martyr. It was also a masterful move to have him dumped into the ocean. And the reason for that is that we didn't want to have a gravesite where, again, he would be a martyr and he would be bigger than life.
We looked at how we should handle his remains. We wanted to do it in the appropriate time frame because it needs to be done within 24 hours. It was, consistent with Islamic law. This was a murderer, but yet we didn't want to do anything that was going to be deemed offensive to Islam. We gave it much more consideration, and we gave it appropriate, deference, more so than bin Laden gave to any single man, woman, or child that he killed. This was somebody who had killed thousands upon thousands of people. And it was long past time that his terror and his murder and the agony he caused people came to an end.
Thank you for watching.